School marching band. As we get ready to play a little football here, the Arvada West Wildcats coming in off a frustrating 42-40 loss to their crosstown rival, the Arvada Reds. Meanwhile, Pomona coming into this game off a victory over Chatfield. They beat the Chargers 16-10, and Arvada West defense is going to have its hands full with the quarterback for the Pomona Panthers. He's a bright guy. We say that because he's the coach's son, and whenever that's the case, you always know that the player is kind of an extension of the coach on the field. But Joel Klatt, he's a big kid, and he's coming off a pretty good football game.
Yeah, Joe Klatt, you mentioned huge, 6'2", 200-pound senior. That's very big for a quarterback. Last week, 74 yards rushing, 110 yards passing. He really was the offensive attack for Pomona Panthers against Chatfield last week. So Arvada West is really going to have to key in on him and try to stop him to shut down this Pomona offense.
Last year when these two teams met, Arvada West spanked the Panthers, winning 27-0, and Pomona had no answer for the speed Arvada West possessed in guys like Mike Dern and Brad Pyatt. Of course, we all know this year that Arvada West really isn't much slower. Guys like Josh Ranson and Caleb Atchison, along with Mike Dern, can fly. Gary Klatt and the Panthers well aware of the speed that Arvada West possesses. And I'll tell you what, the Arvada West offense is coming in on a roll as well. Hey, they did their part in last week's game. They scored 40 points, and a guy like David Wyatt has been phenomenal the last 4 games.
Yeah, I'm sure David Wyatt probably wishes his season was a few weeks longer because he is absolutely hitting his stride full on right now and just playing phenomenally in the last few games.
There's the kick. It's going to be fielded by Matt Sims at the goal line. He's going to be able to return this one. He's got some blockers and tiptoes his way out. He's tackled short of the 20-yard line, however, a 19-yard return, and that's where the Wildcats set up shop.
We mentioned David Wyatt coming on, playing extremely well the last few weeks. Last 4 games, in fact, 92 of 143, 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 1,307 yards passing.
That's a season for most guys.
those are phenomenal numbers for David Wyatt in the last 4 weeks.
14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's a pretty good efficiency at the quarterback position. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Wyatt, of course, in the shotgun, sends Sims in motion. Pitches it to Duran around the left side, and Duran's going to be tripped up short on the tackle, Brandon Miracle, but not until Mike picks up about 5 yards in the play.
The Pomona defense, led by Matt Davidson, defensive end, 6'3", 205 senior, Jared Lippert, also a senior, Lindsey McMillan, and Ferdinand Torres, upperclassmen all across the front board for Pomona.
Wyatt, a little draw up the middle, and Duran again has some running room, taking it for first down yardage out across the 40. That's going to be a pickup of about 16 yards in the play, and Arvada West gets their first down.
And right away, they're trying to stick with the run, Eric, and that's something they've had trouble establishing the last few weeks, and Mike Duran trying to settle that right now.
Kip Rule, Joe Shepard, Abe Lee, Nick Aiden, a few of the offensive linemen starting tonight's game for Dave Logan and the Wildcats. That's Josh Ranson picking up a first down and being hit hard out of bounds. He crosses midfield into Pomona territory, a pickup of about 14 on the play.
Right now looking real smooth, real confident out there. Dave Wyatt obviously in such a group in the last few weeks that it doesn't seem to affect his play at all, and they're making a nice pass to Josh Ranson.
Atchison and Ranson, you see on the top of your screen, split left. Sims and Wathier split right. Wyatt and Duran in the backfield. That's Sims in motion from right to left. 1st and 10. Hand off to Duran. He's got some room, a pickup of about 5 for Mike. So Mike's off to a pretty good game in his final high school action. 3 carries, 26 yards.
Yeah, we're seeing him in sort of a different formation than we did last week. Most of the time lined up on the wing. Now he's sort of in the backfield so far in the first series here today for Arvada West.
Again, Arvada West with that no-huddle offense. Wyatt and Duran in the backfield. Fakes a draw. Wyatt looks to his left, throws, has Ranson. Ranson gets a good block from Atchison. Too good, however, as they're going to flag Atchison for a hold, despite Ranson taking it inside the Pomona 10.
Yeah, I think that they're going to call Atchison for holding I believe it was on 37.
Ryan Bishop.
Right, correct. Ryan Bishop was held as Ranson was turning the corner there.
Bishop, a 5'9", 170-pound senior. He's also the place kicker on this football team, an all-conference performer a year ago. That's going to be a 10-yard penalty. He's going to take the ball back to the Pomona 36-yard line, so actually a pickup of about 2 on that play for the Wildcats.
That's right. Well, such a great pickup by Ranson that the penalty actually, in effect, goes for positive yardage for the Wildcats.
So it brings up second down and call it about 3 for the Wildcats. Wyatt looking over to the sideline for the play. Sets up shop. Hands it off to Duran. Duran's going to be close to a first down. I think he got it in on the tackle that time for Pomona, Matt Davidson. We mentioned him just moments ago.
Yeah, I think Duran did get that one just stretched out. Looks to me like they're going to probably bring in the chains and get a measurement here. But
my old eagle eyes tell me he's got it by at least a half a football.
Well, I've never known you to be wrong. So,
how long you been working with me?
Not that long. So, anyway, right now what I've noticed is Arvada West seems to be running 2 plays. They either, well, actually it's one formation. They run 2 plays out of one formation. They line up Mike Duran in the shotgun with David Wyatt, and they either fake the handoff to Duran or give it to him. And if they don't give it to him, they usually pass the ball immediately to Josh Ranson on sort of a slant out pattern. So offense so far today not real complex for Arvada West, but it seems to be getting the job done so far.
John Doan, a 5'10", 220-pound junior, playing right guard this afternoon for the Wildcats as well. Wyatt in the backfield, barking out the signals. 2 receivers to his left, 2 to his right, 1st and 10. Little option to the right side. Wyatt pitches to Duran. Duran doesn't have a whole lot of running room, breaks a tackle, and fights his way forward for close to another first down.
Wow, that was a great run there. Mike Duran didn't look like you said had any room at all to maneuver off that pitch, but somehow was able to squeak through the seam there and get nearly a first down yard. She probably picked up about 9.5 yards.
5 carries, 39 yards for Mike Duran. He and Josh Ranson are the only A-West players other than Wyatt to touch the football here on this first drive. 8:54 and counting here in the first quarter. First drive of the afternoon. Arvada West looking pretty efficient right now on offense. Wyatt rolls to his left, throws over the hands of Atchison. Atchison gets hit by Bishop after the play to no avail. Wyatt's first incompletion.
Yeah, now it's a little bit high, but Atchison probably would have told you that he'd like to come down with that catch. And it'll bring up a short third down situation here.
Dave, Wyatt's made a number of good throws in the last 4 games. He's completed 92 passes. That, however, was not one of them. He had Atchison actually wide open. He just threw it a little too high. So it's 3rd and short, 3rd, and we'll call it maybe a foot or so. Wyatt and Duran in the backfield. Hand off to Duran. Duran stumbles, but good blocking up front by the Arvada West offensive line. Kip Rule, Nick Aiden, a couple of the guys in there as Duran picks up about 2, and it's a first down.
Yeah, Pomona brought up the linebackers, Steinbrunn, Dimberger, and McLaughlin up in the holes, seeing that the run was probably going to happen, and still they couldn't stop it as Mike Duran just sort of lowered his shoulder and got real low to the ground and picked up the first down.
Number 62 is Mike McGovern. He's checking in for Matt Davidson. Davidson looking like he's having a little equipment problem for the Panthers. 1st and 10, Duran in motion, so that means Wyatt is the lone member in the backfield. We're going to get illegal procedure on Mike Duran as he started to head forward before the ball was snapped.
And penalties have been something that's kind of plagued Arvada West all year long. A number of procedural penalties have really sort of set them back in a lot of instances this year.
You want to hear my theory on that?
I'm listening.
I think that their offense with all the different formations running out of the shotgun, no huddle, is so complex that it's prone to having mistakes. Yet when it works so well that oftentimes they think they can make good on those mistakes.
Right.
That pass going to be actually caught, batted around in the interior. It's going to be a short pickup. I'm not sure who caught that pass. It looks like it might have been Joe Shepard.
Yeah, I think it was 64. And if that's
that would have been Kip Rule. I couldn't tell if it was Rule or Shepard who caught that
I think the ball was deflected, and Kip Rule came down with it there originally, but I thought the pass might have been intended for Mike Duran.
Little screen in the middle of the field, ball batted around, and one of the big old linemen get their hands on it. Sims in motion from right to left. Wyatt back to pass, short drop, looks, that pass going to be picked off on the interception. TJ Steinbrunn, he's going to be tackled by David Wyatt, the man who threw the interception, but the Pomona defense comes up with a critical, or not a critical, but a big turnover there. They get the football back for their offense.
Yeah, boy, I was just going to mention how composed and how sort of controlling the Arvada West offense have been. They've been driving the football down the field, had the ball the entire game to this point. Really hadn't made any mistakes, and that one right there just sort of looked to be telegraphed right for TJ Steinbrunn, and each had to go up a little bit, make a nice catch, and come down with it.
Steinbrunn, a 6 foot, 185-pound senior linebacker for the Panthers. Looks like there may have been a penalty on the play as the ball is taken back to the Pomona 10, so that's where the Panthers are going to start this offensive series this afternoon, their first of the game. 3 members in the backfield along with Joel Klatt. We mentioned him before. Hand off to the fullback Conley, and Conley is going nowhere. Guys like Palmer and Sanchez in on that tackle.
I don't know if this was the penalty area. I'm just speculating. But after that interception and when Steinbrunn was tackled, he tossed the ball probably about 20, 30 feet up in the air. I don't know if that could warrant some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, but perhaps that would be the reason.
My theory on that is, hey, the kid's emotional. Just made a big play. I mean, that doesn't hurt anybody. That's not rubbing anything in anyone's face. Klatt, play action, back to pass, looks to his left, throws, and pass going to be incomplete. We've got a flag on the play. I was just about ready to say great coverage by Shane Marsh. Let's see who the penalty's on.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit of contact made by Shane Marsh, but I don't honestly feel like that was probably enough contact to warrant that call there, as it is going to go against Arvada West.
Yep, pass interference on Marsh. Could have happened before Klatt actually released the football.
That could be as well.
Pomona's going to switch up shop here a little bit as they're going to bring in their 3 wideouts. That's first down of the game for the Panthers, and they've got it 1st and 10, ball sitting just outside the 25-yard line.
Those wideouts are Agnew, Larson, and Blazer.
Agnew and Larson split right, Blazer and Beecham on the left side. Klatt drops back, throws across the middle, pass going to be dropped by Beecham, hit hard by Flora, and I'll tell you what, that's why he dropped the football. He knew he was going across the middle and someone was waiting for him.
Yeah, that's one of the toughest plays in football for receivers, when you got to go across the middle and your eyes just sort of instinctually look for that player that's going to come and knock your lights out. And that time, his eyes saw number 5, Big John Flora there.
John Flora, 6'4", 210, only a junior. This is a kid who's got the kind of body a Division I coach might be looking for. 2nd and 10 for the Panthers. Again, no one in the backfield. Klatt forced to roll to his right, directing traffic, throws, has his man, that's Agnew, out to about the 34-yard line. Pickup of 8 is going to break it 3rd and 2.
Yeah, so a 3rd down play here. See what it's going to do. So far, it looks like this Pomona team and their quarterback, Joel Klatt, seems very comfortable passing the football. Interesting to see whether or not they will try some sort of run with perhaps Brandon Miracle or the fullback, Rob Connolly.
After speaking with Gary Klatt last night, I think we're going to see a lot of Pomona with 3-4 wideouts, because Gary Klatt was quick to mention that he thinks the run defense is the strength of the Arvada West defense, so therefore they may put it in the air often. Pitch to Beecham. He's trying to find some running room, gets the 1st down, and is going to be driven out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. A pickup of about 8 on the play for Beecham, and I'll tell you what, a second effort got him that 1st down.
Yeah, and that was a good call by Gary Klatt, the coach, because he lined up all his guys inside the tackles. That forced Arvada West to bring all their guys inside the tackles, and then they just pitched the ball out to Beecham, and it was a foot race from there.
Beecham, a guy Gary Klatt said Arvada West would have to deal with. He's quick. He's a senior on the year, averaging over 8 yards per carry, 79 carries, 651 yards, make it 659 with that last carry. Fakes a handoff to Conrad. Klatt forced to scramble. Has some room around the left side. Tackled by J.C. Tyus, but not until he picks up a first down into Arvada West territory.
I'll tell you what, Klatt did not back down from Tyus there. He looked at Tyus and said, hey, you're going to either take me down or I'm going to run over you. No indication there that Klatt thought anything about going out of bounds.
Well, you talked earlier about Klatt's last game for the Panthers, 184 total yards. It was very balanced, 110 passing, 74 rushing. Joel Klatt is a guy who his father and coach thinks may be able to play football at the Division I level somewhere next season. This is his first and only year as a starter, but he says he has the size and speed and the intelligence to maybe be a nice little two-way threat for somebody. Back to pass again as Klatt throws down the right side, looks for Beecham. Adam Campbell there with the coverage, misplays it. Ball bounces off Beecham's hands and falls incomplete.
Yeah, that pass was sort of floated up there by Klatt, and I'll tell you what, if Campbell doesn't misplay it, it might drop incomplete. However, because it was sort of tipped up by Campbell,
Beecham.
Chung Beecham, nearly made the catch.
Campbell, a 5'9", 155-pound junior. I really like Adam Campbell. I think he's going to be a heck of a football player next year for Dave Illigan's squad. Not saying that he hasn't been this year. He's been a nice, pleasant surprise, giving him a little depth, and actually moved into that starting cornerback spot midway through the season.
Tough position to play.
Especially he filled in when Drew Cisneros went out when he got injured in that Mullen game when just about everybody got injured for the Wildcats. Klatt back to pass. He is crushed by Chris Chavez. He gets up, but that pass is going to fall incomplete. Chavez came along the right side and just hammered him.
Yeah, and right now Klatt's trying to sort of rearrange his uniform because I don't know if I think his shirt probably got turned around backwards on that play. He got hit so hard by Chavez and hit just as he was releasing the pass, so that ball was not a fumble. And it'll be a third down.
You notice Chris Chavez back to wearing his old number 33. When he came back from that injury, he was wearing 38 the last 2 or 3 weeks. Now he's switched back to that familiar number 33. 3rd and 10 for the Panthers. 3 backs along with Klatt in the backfield. Klatt back to pass, throws a screen out to his right. Some good running room. That's going to be a first down picked up and more by Brandon Miracle, breaking tackles and finally stopped by Drew Cisneros, but not till he's inside the A-West 15.
The little guy, 5'7", 150-pound junior, too small for the defense, look almost in that situation, and he took a little screen pass from Joel Klatt and ran it upfield for big yardage.
30 yards on the play. That ball's going to be spotted at the Arvada West 14-yard line, and it's the 4th first down for the Panthers in this drive. Remember, this drive started at Pomona's own 10-yard line. Trying to take it 90 yards here in the first quarter. 4:58 remaining here in the initial quarter of play. Klatt running a little option to the right side, tucks it under, and it's going to take it inside the 10. That's probably going to be a pickup of about 6 yards for Klatt. 2 carries, 20 yards for Joel.
Pretty good crowd out here this afternoon, Eric, don't you think?
You know, I was thinking that when I drove in, I couldn't find a parking spot as easily as I could have on a weeknight. I think a lot of parents probably work and maybe can't make it to weeknight football games. A nice little change of pace. A weekend, everyone's off. A lot of these people may be getting to come to the game for maybe only the 2nd or 3rd time this year just because of other commitments with work and things like that. 2nd and 4 for the Panthers. Klatt fakes a handoff, throws across the middle. The pass is going to be incomplete. Jared Sanchez may have got a hand on it.
Mark Zalazik was the intended receiver there for Pomona, and Klatt's pass a little too hot for him there. Couldn't get his hands on it and bring it in.
Tell you what, the heart and soul of this defense, I mentioned that Gary Klatt had said it earlier, you always got to look at a guy like Ryan Palmer, but McNeely, Morales, Knight, and Chavez, 4 seniors, all those guys were the starters last year. They're back this year, and this is their last football game. They're trying to go out on a high note here, and Chavez has already laid one big hit on Klatt. Here's a little run to Beecham. He takes it down close to the 5, tackled by Cisneros, and Campbell also in on that tackle was Joe Knight, a 5'10", 205-pound senior. That's going to be short of a first down, a pickup of about 1 by Beecham, and so Ryan Bishop comes on to kick a short field goal.
And, this is also a big rivalry game, I think. Last week you mentioned Arvada West, big rivalry, but Pomona is also in the city of Arvada, and so both of these schools have a lot of kids who probably know each other for a long time.
Kick is up, and it is good. A pretty good kick, too, by Ryan Bishop. We mentioned an all-conference performer last year. He makes good on the field goal attempt there. So with 3:31 remaining here in the first quarter, Pomona strikes first. They lead at 3-0.
Pretty good defensive battle going on here so far. I think Arvada West really sort of toughened up as they got inside the red zone there. And obviously Pomona getting that big interception down inside their own 20-yard line probably helped save a touchdown for Arvada West in that situation. So that's what our Pomona's going to have to do, I think, is just sort of contain.
Be opportunistic.
Right, sure.
Well, Arvada West, when they got the ball on that first offensive possession, they were moving it pretty well. You remember they had the pass to Ransom that went inside the 10 but was called back because of the hold by Atchison. And then a few plays later, Wyatt throws the interception across the middle. T.J. Steinbrunn coming up with the big pick. But give Pomona's offense credit, starting at their own 10. They proceeded to take it all the way down to the Arvada West, 13, 12-yard line before they're forced to kick a field goal. Tell you what, going 90 yards, that's just tough to do. Too much time for something to go wrong. Sims catches this one at the 1, brings it across the 10, and dances, breaks a tackle, actually fumbles the football. It's going to be recovered by a teammate.
I think it was 62.
I think that's Kuntz.
Yep, Shane Kuntz.
Recovers it, but Sims actually fumbled that football. Kuntz in the right place at the right time, and Kuntz is going to stay out there and play a little left tackle in this series for the Cats. 1st and 10, ball at about the 23-yard line. Again, 4 receivers in the formation for Arvada West. Wyatt and Duran in the backfield. Hand off to Duran. He reverses his field, runs right up the gut, picking up big yardage across the 40. That's going to be a pickup of about 17 yards.
Gosh, it is just like, if you just want to make positive yardage, just give it to him and just say,
let him handle it like 50 times a game.
And you just say, I'll just see you when you get down, and we'll just do it again.
5'10", 185-pound senior, Mike Duran. Of course, missed a majority of this year with a broken collarbone. Came back a few games ago and has really looked good since coming back. Stopped this time in on the tackle. Jared Lippert, I think, dragged him down. That's going to only be a pickup of 3 for Mike. 8 carries, 61 yards today for Duran.
Still 3 minutes left in the first quarter.
2nd down and 7. Again, Wyatt and Duran in the backfield. Duran replacing Brandon Kyle, who got the start the last 2 weeks. However, last week, Duran saw most of the action. Sims in motion from right to left. Wyatt pitches it. The pitch is behind Duran. Duran falls on it at the 40. And again, Lippert there to disrupt the play.
Yeah, Lippert probably forced Wyatt to pitch that ball before he wanted to. And actually, the pitch was behind Mike Duran. And I think that was, as you mentioned, caused by Lippert. And good reaction skills by Mike Duran just to fall on that ball and not turn it over.
Lippert, a senior defensive tackle for the Pomona Panthers, trying to make some noise in his final high school football game. 3rd down and 10 for the Wildcats. Pomona drops 9 guys back in coverage, only rush 2. Screen pass to Duran. Duran's going to try to break a tackle and make a 1st down. He's going to be short. Picks up about 9 on the play. Wouldn't be surprised to see Dave Logan go for it.
No, this is something that we've seen him do a lot this year. When they're in the midfield range, and short yardage to go, they will usually go for it here, and I think that is probably what they're going to do as Dave Wyatt goes to the sidelines, get some instructions from Coach Logan.
Now he's going to go up under center with Duran, the lone runner in the backfield. Making that tackle to stop Duran short was Aaron McLaughlin. Wyatt follows his center, Kip Rule, and it looks, if you agree with guys like Josh Ranson and Caleb Atchison, that Wyatt got enough yardage to pick up the 1st down. Interesting to see McLaughlin kneel down there trying to get an eagle's eye view of that
yeah, and I don't
spot.
know. Right now, where they spotted the football,
he may be short.
He might be short, and they're going to have to come out and measure this, and this is going to be a real tight measurement.
Dave Logan's got his hands on his head. I think he's questioning the spot of that football.
And it is short by a length of a chain, like a
You talked about Pomona having to be opportunistic today, and they're on a 4th down. They come up with a big stop.
Right, and that play was almost, I think, maybe a little too obvious because it's the first time we've seen Dave Wyatt go under center all day today. That might have tipped off the Pomona defense that they're going to be looking for a sneak there, and just was not able to get enough.
So Pomona takes over at their own 49-yard line. The first time they had the ball, they moved it about 75 yards or so before being forced to kick a 30-yard field goal. See what the Panthers do on their second possession. Again, they've got 4 wide receivers in the formation, Klatt and Conley in the backfield. That's Beecham in motion from left to right. Klatt back to pass, has some time, throws over the head of his intended receiver. Campbell goes to the ground. They're going to say the ball. Actually, the first official said it hit the ground. The second one said he caught it, and they're going to say the pass is incomplete.
Yeah, you know, and the Arvada West offense is running on the field right now, and they're going to have to make some changes again because after the officials confirmed, they said it was incomplete. Very close call there. Looking at it in real-time speed, can't give you an honest opinion of what I thought. I thought that Adam Campbell might have been able to come up with it, but referee obviously had a better view than I did.
Yeah, that was a tough call because that was either way it was close.
Oh yeah.
You know. 2nd down and 10 for the Panthers. Klatt only 2 completions in his first 7 attempts here this afternoon. This time he's got a lot of time until big old number 69, Joe Knight, comes in there and registers the first sack of the game.
That was like Joe Knight came in there and he held up Klatt and like waited for 52. I'm trying to find it here. Joe LeBeau to come in and finish him off.
LeBeau, a 5'10", 200-pound junior. To mention, Klatt's a big kid, 6'2", 220. You know, Knight, 5'10", 205.
Right,
so I mean,
about the same size, and
reminds me of times last week in the CU game when they were trying to sack Heupel. He was about 230.
He's a big guy. Wow.
3rd and long for the Panthers. We'll call it 18. Klatt in the shotgun. Looks, throws, that pass high again. Going to be incomplete. Drew Cisneros there on the coverage. Pass intended for Jason Agnew falls incomplete. And Klatt a little off target here early on, only 2 of 8 for 38 yards.
Yeah, he's got a real strong arm, and I think his receivers are getting open. His passes just quite aren't on the money. And that time Cisneros with just perfect coverage, absolutely waited to the last second and deflected the pass away.
There's a kick by Davidson, high angling to the sidelines. Ranson picks it up, but he stepped out of bounds. A great directional punt by Davidson. The Pomona kicking game showing signs of life here early in the first quarter, or late in the first quarter. Only 14 seconds remain. Pomona leads it 3-0. First and 10 at the Arvada West 19-yard line. I'll tell you what, if you can directional kick against Arvada West, you're doing a good job because they've got some guys who are game breakers back there, and if you can alleviate them or stop them from getting a chance at returns, you've done a good job at least taking away one of their many weapons. Wyatt in the shotgun, hands off to Duran. Duran's going to go around the left side. He fumbles the football, and I think Josh Ranson recovered.
Yeah, Josh Ranson flew in there out of nowhere, basically, and was able to grab that football. And it looked like, I felt for sure that when the fumble first occurred that Pomona was going to grab on and jump on it, but nice job by Ranson to sort of hang on.
Loss of 2 from Mike Duran, 10 carries, 54 yards. You may have heard the gun sound. That is the end of the first quarter. Pomona has the lead. They lead the Wildcats 3-0. We'll come back with more on the Arvada West Wildcat Network. Welcome back to Jeffco Stadium. Again, a great day for football. I can't believe the weather we've been having so far this fall and winter. It's been unbelievable. See a lot of guys out there with no shirts on underneath their pads and jerseys. And when you're playing high school football in November in Colorado, that is often not the case. Second down and 12 for the Wildcats. Duran joins Wyatt once again in the shotgun and fakes a handoff to Duran, throws to the right. Ranson makes a catch, reverses his field, is brought down at the 26, a pickup of 9. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 4 situation.
Yeah, good simple pass there by Dave White to Josh Ranson. And that's, this Arvada West team doesn't need to pick up chunks of yardage, 30 or 40 yards. They can be satisfied with 7 or 8 yard catches like that and gain first downs that way.
Again, 4 wideouts in the formation for Arvada West. 3rd and 4, Wyatt in the backfield. Barking out the signals. Drops back, throws across the middle. Ranson short arms it, drops the pass, and Brandon Miracle was there to give Ranson a little pop after he dropped the pass.
Yeah, and Ranson wasn't too happy about it because after that pass had already gone by him, he sort of threw him to the ground. Miracle to the ground.
Well, I'll tell you what, on the play before when Ranson caught the pass coming towards the sideline, he did a great job. Once he caught the pass, he stopped, and he came back inside. Right. I thought for sure he was going to continue to run to the sidelines, and if he would have got his clock clean because there was a Panther just waiting to lay one on him. I think Josh Ranson's the kind of guy who just has a good feel of where guys are on the field. Nice high kick by Mike Duran. Pomona defenders better watch out or they're going to get hit by that football. It's going to be downed at the 46-yard line, downing the ball there. Danny Schwab, number 86, a 6'4", 200-pound junior for the Wildcats. He'll be one of the players coming back next year for Dave Logan's squad.
So right now, the battle of the field position looks like Pomona sort of on top in that department. However, like you said, they have been able to show that they can drive the football on Arvada West, going 90 yards in a previous drive. So.
1st and 10, ball at their own 46. Panthers in business. They have the lead, 3-0. We've got 11 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Chung Beecham's going to be stopped for a very, very short game. Jared Sanchez, the first man there. J.C. Tyus, Chris Chavez, a few other men were there to clean him up. A pickup of 1 by Beecham. Klatt under center. Again, 3 Panthers in the backfield, 2 tight ends. Klatt, a little option. Not much running room as, again, he's going to be stopped short. No gain this time. And I'll tell you what, take your pick on who was in on that tackle.
Yeah, just about all 11 defenders had some sort of role to play in that, bringing down Joel Klatt there. Arvada West doing a nice job of really closing off the lanes. That time, Klatt looked like he wanted to pitch the ball out to his right. However, Adam Campbell did a nice job coming up and sort of sealing off the end there and not let him to pitch it.
3rd and 9 for the men in black. Ball at the 47-yard line. Again, a full house look. Klatt, play action, drops back, has to elude. Chavez can't. As Chavez was the first one there, Morales and Cisneros will get credited for the sack, and Klatt's a little slow getting up.
Yeah, and part of the reason he is slow getting up is because I think he's just sort of a big guy and he is sort of slow, and I think he doesn't quite have the ability to sort of snake away from some of those defenders, and his speed is somewhat lacking.
So we're going to give a half a sack to Morales and a half a sack to Cisneros on the play. Another great punt by Davidson. This one is going to be out of bounds at the 9-yard line, and once again, they don't give Mike Duran a chance to return that punt.
No, that was a great kick, and Duran had, as you mentioned, no chance at all. Perfectly bounced out of bounds. The ball bounced about the 10-yard line and went right out of bounds at the 9. So Pomona's kicking game, as you mentioned, giving their offense every opportunity to stop the Arvada West offense.
That's a 55-yard punt that goes out of bounds inside the 10. That's at the high school level. You don't get much better than that. Hey,
no.
You don't get much better than that in the college or the pros.
No, you don't.
1st and 10 for the Wildcats inside their own 10-yard line. Sims in motion. Miracle following him, hand off to Duren. He's got a lot of running room right up the gut, out across the 20. Klatt puts a hit on him, knocks him out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. Nice pickup there by Duren.
Yeah, that's sort of Mike Duren is sort of the negator of those big kicks when he can sort of get you 15 yards that way and sort of dig you out of that hole. Now, starting basically at the 27-yard line doesn't look nearly as bad as it did starting at the 9.
Klatt put a big hit on him, but if you notice, Klatt was the guy who went down, not Duren. And Klatt's a bigger kid than Duren. Duren maybe a little more compact. And there's Mike again. This time he is going to be stopped for probably a 2-yard gain. We'll call it 3. TJ Steinbrunn in on the tackle for the Panthers. 2nd and 7. Tell you what, Duren getting his work today, 12 carries, 75 yards, and we're still in the second quarter, 8:45 remaining. Wyatt back to pass, looks to his left, throws. Atchison makes the catch. Bishop stops him immediately. Pickup of 4. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, Bishop really laid a lick on Atchison on that play. And you mentioned Duren getting a lot of work. I think that Coach Logan probably realized this is Mike Duren's last game in a Wildcat uniform and really wants to get him involved as much as he can before his way out.
And I'm not sure what Mike's plans are after college, but it could be his last football game as well. Mike's a great baseball player, as we've mentioned before, and he very well may opt to play baseball. There Duren is on the option, picking up a first down on the left side. That's got to be a pickup of 4 for Duren. He picks up yet another first down for the Wildcats. Chains move, and clock continues to run. 8 minutes left here in the second quarter. Pomona leads Arvada West 3-0. Wyatt and Sims this time in the backfield. Duren may be getting a little breather. This time a little shuttle pass to Duren. Actually, he's lined up in the slot, breaks tackles as we've seen him do a number of times, and picks up 4 on the play. That was an interesting formation. I don't know if we've seen that one yet this year.
No, and they've ran a variety of plays out of that shotgun formation, but you mentioned that one where Duren sets up in the slot and then takes that little shuttle pass is one that they do not run very often.
2nd down and 6 for the Wildcats. This time both Sims and Duren join Wyatt in the backfield. Now Duren in motion to his left. Wyatt back to pass, looks in the slot. That's Ranson with a first down catch. He dives forward for a pickup of about 10 on the play, and another Arvada West first down.
And I really love Josh Ranson on that play because he picked up the first down, but he didn't care. He wanted to dive forward and get much extra
2 extra yards.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Didn't need it, but he went for it anyway.
I'll tell you what, Ranson has had a great year. 51 catches, 825 yards last week. 10 catches, 185 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This junior has had a whale of a season here in 1999. Wyatt fumbles the snap, picks it up, and is actually going to pick up some positive yardage, probably about 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, and I think that was a play that was originally going to give Mike Duren the ball on a long pass out to the sideline there. And you mentioned Wyatt just sort of dropped the ball off the snap, but was able to pick it up, heads up play, pushes it forward for a few yards.
2nd and 6 for the Wildcats. Again, Sims and Duren join Wyatt in the backfield. Anticipate one of them probably going in motion. And there you see Duren going to his left. Wyatt back to pass. Throws down the field. Atchison's open, makes a catch at the 30, turns it upfield inside the 20 and down to about the 16-yard line.
Sort of a soft zone on that play by Pomona, and Atchison just sort of found the middle of it. Not really a Panther defender within about 5 yards of him there, and easy catch for Atchison and gets the first down inside the 20-yard line.
Pickup of 27 on the play, takes it down inside the Pomona 20 to the 16. We've got 5:52 remaining here in the second quarter, and Arvada West knocking on the door. 1st and 10. Wyatt hands it off to Duren. This time, not as much running room as he was accustomed to. a short pickup of about 2 on the play. 15 carries, 85 yards for Mike. Wyatt and Duran are going to be in the shotgun once again. 2nd and 8 for Arvada West. Wyatt, couple step drop, looks to his right, throws, has a man open, but overthrows Ranson. Ranson had beat Klatt over there in the right corner. Pass just a little too strong.
Just a little too far for Josh Ranson there. That ball fell incomplete in the end zone, so it was sort of a good pass in some senses, just led Ranson a little bit too far.
Tell you what, it's been a quick first half so far.
Well, compared to last week, anything's quick.
First half took, about 2 hours?
I tell you what, NFL overtime games don't go as long as that past week's high school game. It was
not as exciting either. 42-40. I know Arvada West came out on the short end of the stick, but Ranson with a catch drops the football. That's either got to be, they're going to say he was down. Aaron McLaughlin, a few of the Panthers signaling for an incompletion. A nice catch by Ranson. He got hit hard, dropped the football, but he must have had a knee on the ground before that happened. They're going to mark it down at about, the 1 yard line?
Very fortunate call for Arvada West there. Don't want to turn the ball over to Pomona when you're about to score a touchdown.
Gary Klatt's got a couple feet out on the field, as does Dave Logan. Each coach anxiously anticipating this call, and they're going to say it is incomplete. So that's going to bring up 4th down for the Wildcats. Tell you what, Ranson got popped there. My initial reaction was that it was an incomplete pass.
Okay.
But, we don't have the benefit of replay, so kind of tough to say.
Yeah, you're right. And as Arvada West takes the time out here, a lot of tough calls in this first half. I mean, there's been a couple of occasions where we can recall, maybe Adam Campbell, did he intercept? Did he not intercept?
Seems like they've all gone against A West.
Right, and and when you've had a tough season, it just seems to go that way for you somehow. But officials really have to keep their eyes open today because there have been some close calls.
One thing Arvada West has done a good job of here so far this afternoon is protecting Dave Wyatt. Now, a lot of that is predicated on the fact that Wyatt gets rid of the ball very quickly out of a shotgun formation, but Pomona is a team that has harassed some of the best of them so far this year. In a loss to Fairview, they sacked Craig Oaks 7 times. In another game, I believe it was against Arvada, they registered 9 sacks. So Pomona's had their way with opposing quarterbacks as far as applying pressure. So far here this afternoon, that hasn't been the case. Taylor Palin, the freshman, is going to attempt a field goal here. The snap's good, the kick is up, and it is good. So Palin matches Bishop's field goal, and we got a tie football game.
Good kick there by the freshman Taylor Palin. A lot of pressure on him to come in. Probably getting most of the kicking duties for next season and getting an early look here. And he ties up the football game here at 3 apiece with 4:54 remaining in the first half.
31-yard field goal attempt by Taylor Palin ties it up, as you said, 3 apiece. And wanted to make a point against Mike Duran while we have a second here. I went to that football game on Friday night between Montbello and Thomas Jefferson. Those two teams feature 2 of the state's top running backs in Leonard Jones for Montbello and, of course, Marcus Houston, who's rated #1 nationally. And I only saw those guys play for about a half. What I've seen out of Mike Duran this year and even last year, in my opinion, he's every bit as good as those guys are. I mean, I think it would be a shame if this kid didn't go on to play football, but that's because I'm a big football fan. I know he's a great baseball player, and a lot of guys opt for baseball because they can get drafted, they can get money in their pocket, go to the minor league systems and work their way up. But I'll tell you what, from what I've seen of Mike Duran, there's no question in my mind that he's a Division I football player, most likely as some kind of slot receiver.
Right, and a guy that's similar to him is, as the kickoff is placed down here by Arvada West, is the kid Pyatt that played for Arvada West last year, playing sort of a slot role for the University of Kentucky this year, an SEC football team, an up-and-coming football team in the SEC, top Division I teams they play week in and week out, and, playing much the way that Mike Duran did at this level.
Another player who he reminds me a lot of, maybe in stature, is Roman Hollowell. He's a little bigger and a little taller. Roman Hollowell, CU from did he play for Mullen, I believe? I mean, he's only about 5'6", maybe 170, 180 pounds. Mike Duran's a little bigger, but Tell you what, Duran's just he breaks tackles. He's got to be at least a 4-4 guy. He runs like the wind, and he just knows how to make plays. There's a handoff to Conley up the middle, minimal pickup of 1 for Conley. He's got 2 carries for a yard, and Pomona's running game continues to struggle here this afternoon. But I really think that if teams, and I assume schools are, but if schools aren't looking at Mike Duran as a football player, I think they're missing the boat.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that, we've never even heard anything about CU really talk about Mike Duran. I don't know. I'm sure they're probably looking at him in some fashion, but, it'd be nice to pull him in. Obviously, because he wants to play baseball, maybe CU is, again, it's sort of a disadvantage there, but...
Sonny Italiano with an illegal procedure there by the Panthers. Reinforcements come in on the offensive line, including Jack Tipton, a 6'4", 230-pound sophomore. But, I looked at the Super Prep magazine, and they didn't have him listed among the top, 50 or 100 football players in the Midwest. And I just don't know how that's possible from what I've seen. And I haven't seen everyone in the state play, but I saw Leonard Jones and Marcus Houston play. They're not much better than Mike Duran, if at all. And there's a sack by the Arvada West Wildcat defense. And I believe Joe Knight was the guy who got him again.
Joe Knight was initially the guy that made the hit on Klatt that ended up bringing him down. And Joe Knight having quite a game on his last high school football afternoon here.
Third sack of the afternoon for the Wildcats. We talked about Pomona's proclivity for sacking the quarterback. Arvada West stealing a page out of that playbook here this afternoon. We've got third down and about 24 yards, maybe 34. Klatt back to pass to Beecham, a little screen. Beecham breaks a tackle, picks up decent yards. He's going to be stopped well short of the first down. Picks up about, maybe 15 on the play?
Yeah, about up to the 20, they're going to mark about the 22, 21-yard line, I think. And it will be
only the third completion this afternoon for Klatt, Beecham's first catch. So we get to see Mr. Davidson punt again. He's been a great weapon so far this afternoon for the Panthers. Again, another high kick angling out of bounds. This one is going to probably be marked maybe around the Pomona 35 or so. Let's see where the official here on the near side spots it. I said the 35, and where does he stop?
35.
Man, that's my talent. How can I parlay that into millions? That's my question. Again, doesn't allow Arvada West to get don't want to say a cheap score, but a score off their special teams. They're going to make Arvada West earn these points by moving the ball on offense. 1st and 10. 3:04 left here in the second quarter. Again, we're tied at threes. Each team has made good on a short field goal. Wyatt back to pass to Ranson this time. A short pickup. Give him 4 as he's hit immediately after catching the football.
And Arvada West here with about 65 yards to march for a score. When 2:47 left in the half, we're probably going to try to go into some sort of hurry-up offensive mode here.
Well, they're always in the no huddle, but they might be able to get the plays in a little quicker and decide what they want to do a little quicker to save themselves some time. 2nd down and 6, ball just inside or outside the 40. Wyatt, this time his receivers covered, forced to scramble. Davidson pressuring him. Little nifty footwork by Davidson, eventually sacked. McLaughlin was there maybe to eventually force him to go down. Lippert also in on the play. A loss of about 7 on the play.
And Pomona here not electing to call a timeout, even though they are in a position here to get the ball back. 2 minutes exactly now left in the half.
3rd and long. Arvada West may just keep this in the hands of Duran on a draw. 3rd down and about 13. Then again, Dave Logan's never one for being conservative. Wyatt looks, throws. Atchison has it. It's going to be close to a first down. Tackled on the play by Larson. I think he might have enough for the first down.
So do I, and I think he did get the first down there. Stops the clock for the first down, and they're not going to measure. They're going to call it a first down. So
So when I'm thinking about them just wanting to run the clock, Dave Logan goes for the first down. I should have known he was going to go for it. And Wyatt and Atchison hook up on a nice play. 1st and 10, ball at the 46-yard line. Arvada West with it here in the final minutes of the second quarter. Minute 27 remaining. Arvada West trying to put something on the board and go into the locker room with the lead. Wyatt back to pass, this time to Atchison. That pass a little high. It's going to be incomplete.
But a good pass nonetheless, because if Atchison makes that catch, he's going to fall out of bounds and stop the clock there. Right now, Arvada West, if they're trying to score points here, are going to need to get some sideline passes, even though they do have 2 timeouts remaining.
Atchison putting together a pretty decent first half, 3 catches for 44 yards. Remember, however, he's a senior. This is his first year of organized football. He played soccer before this. Dave Logan must have liked his speed, convinced him to come out to play football, and he's been a good player here for the Wildcats. This his senior and first season of football. One of the state's leading receivers. 2nd down and 10. Wyatt, little screen pass in the slot to Duran. Duran's going to throw it deep to Atchison. He's behind the defender, breaks it to the middle, and there's the speed we're talking about. Put it on the board, 6 for the Wildcats.
Great play there. Mike Duran getting a touchdown pass to go along with his other many touchdowns this season here. That time really fooled the Pomona defense, as they just figured that was going to be another screen pass, and Mike Duran was going to run it upfield. Drew the defensive back that was covering Atchison in, and Atchison blew right past him. Made a wide open catch, really, and just burst towards the end zone for the score.
54 yards on the play gives Arvada West a 9-3 lead, and so the Wildcats pulling out all the stops here in their final game of the season. We've got around a minute remaining here in the second quarter. They lead it 9-3. Palin back on the field, puts the extra point up, and it's good. So score now is 10-3 Arvada West.
And that is sort of what separates Arvada West from a lot of other teams, is the ability to sort of pull off a big play like they did there. Totally had Pomona confused and surprised there, and Pomona, who's really played a great first half, is most likely going to go into this halftime down.
I'll tell you what, though, give credit to the Arvada West defense, because Pomona, while they moved the ball in that first series, after that, they've struggled offensively. Right. They probably have negative yardage after that first drive when they took it from their 10 down to about the 13-yard line. After that, the Arvada West defense, led by that front line, guys like Knight, Chavez, Morellas, McNeely, they've been dominating, just having their way with the Pomona offensive line. Should mention the Pomona offensive line, including the tight end, all seniors. This is an experienced group that the Wildcat defense is having their way with here this afternoon. 10-3 is our score. Wildcats lead it. Minute 8 left here in the second quarter. A low line drive kick fielded at the 15 and brought out across the 25. Brandon Miracle breaking tackles out, maybe even across the 30. About a 15-yard pickup on that kickoff return. Jace Fletcher in on the tackle for the Wildcats. 6'3", 175-pound sophomore. Fletcher actually the guy who does the kickoff duties. So 1st and 10, ball at the 30. Again, we've got about a minute, 61 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. It'll be interesting to see if Joel Klatt and the Panther offense go to the air here with just a minute remaining.
Well, Klatt's proven that he can throw the ball fairly effectively. He has a very strong arm, so I wouldn't be shocked to see them try something.
He's in the shotgun. Back to pass. Looks deep down the left side. Has Beecham. Beecham beat his man and drops it at the 25-yard line.
I think Beecham slowed down a little bit, and if he stays in full stride, he's probably into the end zone with a touchdown right there, because that pass was put right on the money by Klatt.
I'll tell you what, that's a pretty good throw there by Joel Klatt, too.
That was.
I mean, he let the pass go at about, maybe his own 20, 25-yard line, and Beecham dropped it at
the 25, I would say.
So that's 50 yards in the air. Heck, that's better than Mike Machete.
Well,
I don't mean to pick on
Mike Machete.
Yeah, that's right. 2nd down and 10 for the Panthers. Ball to 31. Klatt, a little trouble with this one. A little quarterback draw. Minimal yardage. Pickup of about 5 for Joel Klatt. Clock is going to continue to run, and it brings up 3rd and 5 for the Panthers. 44 seconds. Got a timeout called by Arvada West. Again, Dave Logan hoping maybe his offense can get their hands on the football with maybe less than 30 seconds to go, but he thinks that might be enough time to get something going.
Well, they've proven that they can score in quick bursts like that pass from Duran to Atchison in the last series, so why not? And, timeouts don't carry over to the second half, so you might as well use them if you got them.
Absolutely. 10-3 is our score here in the final seconds of the second quarter. Arvada West leads Pomona. Pomona got things started at 3:31 of the first quarter. Ryan Bishop was good on a 30-yard field goal attempt, 3-0 Panthers. But the second quarter has been all Wildcats. Taylor Powlin, the freshman, makes good on a 31-yard field goal for Dave Logan's troops. That tied the game at 3, and then just moments ago with 1:08 left here in the second quarter, Mike Duran took a screen pass, threw it downfield to Caleb Atchison. Atchison outran the Panther defense 54 yards for the score. That gave Arvada West a 10-3 lead, and that's where the ball game stands now here in the late stages of the second quarter. Again, Pomona back in the shotgun, 4 receivers. Klatt back to pass, pressured by Chavez, rolls to his right, looks, throws, hit as he threw by Palmer. This one's for Beecham. It's going to be intercepted by Duran. Duran keeps his feet, and he's got a return. He's got some running room, folks. Tripped up, however, at the 38-yard line. Mike Duran with the interception.
And I didn't see it, but somebody absolutely laid a lick on Joel Klatt as he passed that ball.
It was Ryan Palmer who put the hammer on him.
Yeah, took him by the neck and just tossed him to the ground. And Mike Duran there on the great return gives him Arvada West decent field position to try maybe a long pass or two with 23 seconds to go here.
John Larson, one of the wide receivers for Pomona, in on the tackle. He is the player. Actually, he made the tackle on Duran. However, he is the player down on the field at about the 38. So that's the first interception of the game for Klatt, and obviously Mike Duran's first today. We haven't seen Duran last year, played a lot of defensive back for the Arvada West Wildcats. Haven't seen him back in that position often this year, but there you saw him being a safety valve, playing a deep safety.
Well, in that situation, I think that Logan probably thinks not a lot of time left in the first half. Pomona probably going to try something downfield. Might as well put our best player back in the backfield and see if he can probably make a play. That time he did.
23 seconds left, and Arvada West has it at their own 38. I don't know if they have someone with enough leg to make good on a 40 or 50-yard field goal, but they do have enough time to get this ball down the field in a hurry.
Well, the kicker they haven't used today, Thomas Valenta, number 11, I think he's a junior, has kicked a 40, I think it's a 41-yard field goal earlier this year, so he does have a bit of leg.
So he's got some good leg strength. Wyatt back to pass. That pass to Atchison. Atchison scampers out of bounds at Pomona's 49-yard line. That is a pickup of 12 on the play and a first down for Arvada West.
And that play only took 6 seconds off the clock. Remember, Arvada West does have 1 timeout remaining.
Atchison, 5 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. A big first half for Caleb. First and 10 for the Wildcats, ball at the 49. 3 linemen and 8 people back in coverage for the Panthers. Little option, possibly shuttle pass to Duran. Duran is tackled by Davidson. Great defense there. A short pickup of only about 2 for Duran.
And here Arvada West will use their final timeout and discuss what type of play they would like to run here with 11 seconds to go.
Dave Logan comes out onto the field into the huddle with his Wildcats, and that's an interesting play. Little shuttle pass to Mike Duran. Let him see if he can make something happen. You have a timeout. If he gets tackled for a minimal game, call your final timeout.
Thought they might want to save that timeout for a field goal attempt there, but in this situation,
probably they'd be able to spike it if they needed to stop the clock in a hurry. I mean, that's not as safety proof as having a timeout, because you got to get everyone up to the line of scrimmage and organized, but if they manage the clock well, it shouldn't be a problem. Dave Logan may be talking about just that with his troops. 11 seconds left here in the first half. Probably only enough time for one play. As Wyatt's in the shotgun. Drops back. almost sacks, break loose, throws. That pass is going to be knocked down by Ryan Bishop, intended for Atchison, but how about the strength of Wyatt to avoid the sack?
Yeah, he sort of threw off a tackler and able to get a pass downfield that, if caught, might have been able to set up a long field goal attempt. Over 5 seconds left.
That would have set up, if that pass would have been caught, that would have set up about a 47-yard field goal attempt. So it would have definitely been long. Well, you got to figure this is going to be a Hail Mary with 5 seconds left. Wyatt in the shotgun. Under pressure and is going to be tripped up by Matt Davidson. There's a flag on the play, probably holding. I'm sure that will be declined, and Davidson comes up with the sack on Wyatt. So the first half comes to a close. It's been a good one. Arvada West leads Pomona the score 10-3. When we come back, we'll have some first half stats and the second half kickoff on the Arvada West Wildcat Network. Welcome back to Jeffco Stadium. The Arvada West Wildcats lead the Pomona Panthers here at intermission 10-3. And Eric Christensen along with Matt Monahan joining you. And I'll tell you what, Matt, it's a close game on the scoreboard, but not on the scoreboard. It's been all Arvada West. Quick count. Arvada West has over 200 yards in total offense. Pomona only 64.
Yeah, really, it's a lot to do with time of possession. I think Arvada West offense has been on the field a lot in the first half, but really a couple of opportunistic plays, getting some turnovers by Pomona has really kept them in the ball game, giving them really the 3 points that they have.
Mike Duran, the leading rusher in the game so far, as Pomona, as you see, is going to receive this second half kick. 16 carries, 87 yards. The leading rusher for Pomona, Chung Beecham, 3 carries for 10 yards. Actually, Pomona with only 11 yards rushing the football in the first half. Passing the ball, Joel Klatt is 3 of 11 with an interception for 53 yards. David Wyatt, he's thrown for 95 yards, and he is 10 of 17. He's also thrown an interception. Mike Duran, however, threw a halfback or a wide receiver option pass for a 54-yard touchdown to Caleb Atchison. That actually the only touchdown in the first half, and that hasn't been set often in games with Arvada West this year.
No, it hasn't. Usually, though, I think in the last few games we've seen that Arvada West really comes out firing in the second half, and I look for them to put a lot more points on the board here in the second half, as they're going to kick the ball off to Pomona. And Pomona's done a nice job, however, of really controlling the football. Remember, they had a long 90-yard drive early in the first half, so their offense has shown the ability to really control the ball as well.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the play of guys like Rob Morellas, Joe Knight, and Chris Chavez, Jared Sanchez as well. They've wreaked a lot of havoc for that Pomona offense on the Arvada West defense. They've really controlled this football game. There's a kick by Fletcher, a good one, high, long, it lands in the end zone. High school rules say you got to start at the 20, so that's where the Panthers will set up shop. Again, Joel Klatt is Pomona's quarterback. They'll use 3 players in the backfield with him: Brandon Miracle, Rob Conley, and Chung Beecham. They'll also use 3 wide receivers when they go to that set. It's Jason Agnew, John Larson, and Corey Blazer. Tight end is Mark Zlazek. The left tackle, Colin Nelson. The left guard, Sonny Italiano. The center is Vince Politano. The right guard is A.J. Worth. And the right tackle is Eric Emeterio. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Ball at the 20. Klatt under center, hands it off to Beecham, and Beecham's going nowhere. Morella is one of the men in on that tackle.
Great first half by a lot of the defensive linemen for Arvada West. A couple of times called Morales, Flora, and Joe Knight as well up there. So really those guys have been controlling the up front all game long.
Ryan Palmer's had a good game as well. I think he was in on that last tackle there. 2nd and 10 for the Panthers. Got illegal procedure. That's going to be Eric Emeterio, the 6'3", 230-pound senior for the Panthers. He moves a little early. That's going to make it 2nd and 15, and now probably forced to put the ball in the air. Again, 3 members in the backfield joining Klatt: Conley, Beecham, and Miracle. Klatt rolling to his left. Stops, fires, throws long, and over the outstretched hands of Craig Beal, one of their backup tight ends.
Beal couldn't get his hands on that ball. Klatt really put it high up in the air, and I thought it was going to sail way over his head, though Beal, big kid, nearly got his paws on that one and almost hauled it in.
Klatt's got a strong arm, and I think you made the point earlier. The one thing I see him needing to work on is his touch. He threw that one like a rocket, and
Right.
it's great arm strength, but that's really the kind of pass I think you need to put a little air underneath and let it float in the hands of your receiver, because the receiver had a step or two.
Yeah, there's a big difference, I think, between strength and touch on a pass.
This time, Klatt's going to turn it upfield, hit. He barrels across the 20-yard line. Flora, Joe LeBeau also in on that tackle. A pickup about 7 for Klatt, but he stopped well short of the first down. Pomona forced a punt, and maybe their best player here in the first half has been the punter, Matt Davidson. Also has played a good game on defense.
Yeah, and for the first time today, we're seeing Arvada West send 2 guys back to return the kick, Adam Campbell and Mike Dern.
This one isn't nearly as good as Jeremy Fredrickson, a junior wide receiver defensive back, catches that one on the Pomona sideline. It's going to be marked out of bounds at Pomona's own 45-yard line, so only about a 23-yard punt there by Davidson.
Yeah, the punter really bailed Pomona out of a couple of bad situations in the first half, and just goes to show you that a bad kick can sometimes really put your defense in a big pressure situation, and that's what they're going to do right off the bat here against Arvada West.
Zach Ewey, a 5'10", 200-pound senior, is going to join Wyatt and Duran in the backfield. His first action as a running back here this afternoon. Duran in motion to the right. Wyatt kicks up his knee, drops back, looks, throws. That's Atchison. Nice catch, nice pass. Breaks a tackle and takes this thing down close to the 20-yard line.
Pass by number 12, Wyatt, completes to number 84, Atchison.
Atchison's got real good hands there, and that ball is a little bit high, but Atchison able to come down with it easily, no problem.
6 catches, 133 yards by Atchison. What was great on that play is Wyatt threw it over the linebacker, but in front of the defensive back. Nice pass there by Wyatt to throw it over the short guys, but in front of the deep guys. Duran in motion again. Wyatt looks to his left, throws, and that's going to be, Atchison had it, but he dropped it in on the coverage for the Pomona Panthers was Scott Murphy, a 6'2", 165-pound senior.
And just as I mentioned, Atchison's good hands. That time he just lets one slip through there. Was going to take a good hit by the Pomona defender, nonetheless. Unable to come up with the catch, and it'll be a second down and 10 here to go from the 24-yard line.
Atchison split left along with Ranson in the slot. Sims, the lone receiver to the right. Duran and Ewey in the backfield joining Wyatt. Wyatt takes a snap, hands it off to Duran. He's got a big hole, breaks the tackle, and is dragged down at the 6, but not until he picks up about 17.
Exactly what Mike Dern did in the first half. Had a lot of plays, especially in the first quarter, where he basically took a draw play up the middle for big yardage there. That's the first time we've seen it here on this series. And Mike Dern pads his rushing stats probably over the 70-yard mark here in the second half.
Actually, over the 100-yard mark,
well,
104 yards on 17 carries. First and 10, ball at the 6. Again, 2 members join Wyatt in the backfield. He rolls to his left, is under a lot of pressure. I'm not sure if that's an incomplete pass or a fumble. They're going to mark it as a fumble. That was a live football as Davidson was applying the pressure.
And I think Wyatt took his arm back to pass, but he never got that forward motion going to make it a pass attempt. And Davidson, as you mentioned, knocked the ball out. Very fortunate for Arvada West as it rolls out of bounds. And instead of second and goal here, it'll be second and goal here now, but just from outside the 10-yard line.
Wyatt, Duran, and Ewey in the backfield. Sims and Ranson split, or Atchison and Ranson split right. Sims, the receiver, on the left. Second and goal from about the 13. A little quarterback draw. Wyatt has some running room and ducks his head under a couple tacklers, and is going to be marked down at the 6. Pick up a 7 there by Wyatt, brings up third and goal.
Stop made by number 11, Miracle.
Miracle and Bishop on the tackle for the Panthers.
Arvada West offensive line's done a good job in this football game as well.
Got to think, though, those all-black uniforms are probably a little hot. especially on a day like today. You were just mentioning at halftime how the sun seems a little more intense these times of the year.
And you were quick to point out that it's closer to the earth.
Well,
That's what happens when you're in college and I've been out for like 10 years. That pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage. The man making the play, Ferdinand Torres, a 5'11", 175-pound junior. So it looks as if Arvada West will attempt another field goal as Taylor Palin, the freshman, is out on the field again, and he's going to see if he can make it 2 for 2. The spot's going to be at the 13, so this will be a 23-yard field goal attempt. Kicks up, and it is good. So Taylor Palin indeed kicks his second field goal of the afternoon. 8:48 left here in the third quarter. Arvada West extends the lead to 10, 13-3.
Well, they're not getting it done, I would say, with a lot of, flair, but except for maybe that one pass from Mike Dern, they're just kind of getting it done with chipping away here and gradually sort of picking up a lead. I think that's good for Pomona's psyche. They have to feel good about themselves, only down 10 points here in the third quarter, really, when their offense has struggled for most of the game.
Well, right now, it's a two-possession football game, and the way the Arvada West defense has played after that initial drive by Pomona, you'd have to think that something would need to change if you think Pomona's going to get back in this football game, because they really have had nothing generated outside of that first drive.
And they need maybe just a good kick return here would definitely be something they could work on.
Fletcher with a line drive kick, no chance at a return here. Actually, it was caught at the 1. Miracle took a step back into his own end zone, takes it out to the 24. A 25-yard return there by Miracle. Takes it out to about the 24-yard line, and Pomona will start at its own 24.
Yeah, and I guess in case those of you who might watch this later and think, what's the deal with the whole, touchback in high school? If the ball is caught inside the end zone or it lands in the end zone, then it is a touchback automatically. If you catch the football in the field of play, then take a step back in the end zone, is not a touchback, and you have to take it out. So
John Larson running into the Pomona huddle a tad late. 1st and 10 for the Panthers at their own 24. Joel Klatt, the quarterback, still. Klatt's had a difficult afternoon, 3 of 12 with an interception, only 53 yards. Hands it off to Beecham, and Beecham is swarmed under by a host of white uniforms. Rob Morella is again, Luke Vanola, a couple of guys in on the tackle, and that's going to be a loss of about a yard for Beecham. So Beecham, who came into the game with an 8.2 yards per carry average and over 650 yards rushing on the year, has 5 carries for 9 yards.
Yeah, I was excited to see him. I heard some good things about him, and so far he has really been bottled up.
2nd and 11. Klatt hands it off to Beecham again. This time he's got some running room and a first down. He's into the open. One man to beat is Shane Marsh. Beecham, 10-5. Touchdown, Shane Beecham.
And that's what I heard about. That's why I heard he was excited.
That's going to be a 77-yard run by Chang Beecham.
Yeah, Chung Beecham is just absolutely faster than anybody on the Arvada West side on that particular play, and he busted through there, a little trap play there, broke it to the left-hand side and was gone.
I'll tell you what you don't see often is a player outrunning Arvada West.
No,
that time, though, Beecham was able to do it. Man, I don't know if we've seen a guy outrun Arvada West yet this year.
Very difficult to do in that time, and Shane Marsh has got some good speed, and even he could not quite catch up to Chung Beecham.
So after the first half was a defensive struggle, the offensives strike quickly here in the third quarter as we've had 10 points put up on the board. Arvada West still clinging, however, to a 13-10 lead. Chung Beecham, a 77-yard touchdown run. Like we had mentioned, 5 carries, 9 yards up until that last run. Now, 6 carries for 86 yards. That helps that 8.2 yard per average.
No doubt about that, and really puts them right back in the ball game. And that's really what their offense needed, is somebody spark them for a big play.
Well, that's what they used to say about Eric Dickerson. He'd carry the ball 30 times, and maybe on 28 of those carries, he'd have 55 yards.
Right.
But on the other 2, he'd have about 100.
Number 37, Bishop, to kick off for Pomona.
Ball placed at the 40. Ryan Bishop will do the duties for the Panthers. Back to receive the kick, Mike Duran, along with Brandon Kyle. Bishop with the kick. It's going to be fielded by Kyle. He drops it at the 4, picks it up at the 1, and is swarmed under at about the 8. In on the tackle for the Panthers was Jared Lippert.
That play looked like it was in slow motion to me. It just seemed like Kyle dropped the ball, and it was like you're kind of going, come on, get back there, get it, and stuff. And by the time he did, nowhere to move, and so Arvada West is going to be starting deep in their own end.
That's the first time Kyle's touched the ball here this afternoon. 1st and 10, ball is at Arvada West 9-yard line. Wyatt joined by Duran and Iwi in the backfield. Handoff to Duran, trying to find some room around the right side. Cuts it inside, and that play looked like it was going nowhere, and he ends up picking up 10 yards.
He was running sort of perpendicular to the play, and there was really nothing going on for that, and suddenly, somehow he ends up near the 20-yard line for a big gain and a first down.
Still, in this football game, Pomona has only picked up 4 first downs. All those came on that first drive. 77-yard touchdown run doesn't count as a first down. First down and 10. Wyatt back to pass, throws a little screen out to Duran. Duran has one man to beat, and he can't, as Aaron McLaughlin with a sure-handed tackle there. That's only a pickup of about 2.
Great open field tackle. Tackling Mike Duran one-on-one is probably one of the most difficult things to do for any football player. And
other than maybe calculus or something.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
On the field, we'll just say. And
2nd down and 8 for the Wildcats. But you're right, we haven't seen many people bring Mike Duran down one-on-one in the open field. You see McLaughlin threatening a blitz. He drops back in coverage. Wyatt throws. That pass caught by Atchison. Atchison bounces off a couple tackles, bounces forward for a first down, and picks up about 10 on the play.
And it's one thing I've seen all year long with this Arvada West team is that, and we have a penalty on Arvada West, so that play will be coming back, is that a lot of the receivers, when they catch the ball, you're going to have to get your arms around it because you can't give them shots. They just seem to sort of bounce off the shots that are taken. If you don't give them any type of, actually bring them down with the arms, then they're not going to go down.
Yeah, a guy like Josh Ranson only goes 5'10", 170. Caleb Atchison, 6 foot 170. But these guys are tough to bring down for their size. And I think that you can attribute some of that to the weight program that Arvada West has going on in the offseason. I talked to Dave earlier in the year, and he had mentioned that the kids really busted their tails in the offseason in the weight room, and he thought his team was much better conditioned and stronger. And you see that in guys like Duran, Atchison, and Ranson. These guys may not look like they're difficult to bring down, but they're stronger than they appear. 2nd down and about 18. Wyatt back to pass. Is hit hard by Davidson, completes a pass to Ranson, and Ranson's only about a yard shy of the first down.
Great catch by Ranson. He had to go way up in the air to get that, and then another one of those shots that a Pomona player put on him sort of bounced off it and nearly got up to the pylon for the first down. Not to mention Dave White, the shot he took back in the
that was a heck of a throw because Davidson brought the lumber to Wyatt. He got smacked, but he threw it right on the money to Ranson, and now it's 3rd and a yard. Duran joins Wyatt in the backfield. Maybe a little draw to Mr. Mike Duran. Nope, a little option to Mike Duran. The pitch almost intercepted. Duran's got a first down around the right side, and more. He stays inbounds and takes it out near the 47.
Number 2, Duran.
And something very familiar that I think we've seen a lot of teams do is there's a Pomona player that was on the ground. He sees Mike Duran get past him. He just sort of throws his hands on the ground just out of disgust, realizing that it was like, what more could he have to do to bring this player down?
Well, I thought he was going to run out of bounds at about the 40, but he cut inside at the last minute. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Mike Duran continuing to have a great football game here in his final football game of the year. 19 carries, 132 yards. Remember, he's thrown a 54-yard touchdown pass as well. 1st and 10. Fakes a handoff to Duran. Wyatt back to pass. Throws to Ranson, and there Ranson's tackled immediately. A pickup of 5. Bishop in on the tackle.
A lot of these Arvada West players did something you said about Mike Duran. They don't go out of bounds, and that's something that really is sort of the mark of a tough football team and tough football players. I just heard Coach Mike Dick over the weekend talk about Walter Payton, who just passed away. He said the greatest thing he loved about him was that he never went out of bounds.
Payton was one of those guys who definitely, like we mentioned before, is much tougher than you would think he would be. 2nd down and 5 for the Wildcats. Hand off to Duran. Great block by Joe Shepard. Duran's going to get a first down. Hogtied by Sean Ortez, but not until he picks up.
I think it was Brandon Kelly there on the run.
Oh, is that Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle, I'm sorry, 22.
So he picks up about 6, so my fault, that's Kyle. But Joe Shepard had a great block. Number 53 just cleared out a hole for Kyle as Kyle picked up the first down. Wyatt and Kyle in the backfield. Kyle, the junior. He replaced Mike Orr a couple weeks ago. I believe Mike Orr no longer on this Arvada West football team. Some disciplinary problems there. Wyatt back to pass, overthrows Ranson. Ranson takes a shot, and he is down. Joel Klatt along with Scott Murphy on the hit.
And Ranson doesn't look good, I'll tell you what.
Ranson's wobbly.
He's wobbly and he is stumbling. And
he says, I want to stay in the football game, yet he's lining up about 5 yards in front of where the ball's at. Dave Logan's like, hey, you know what? I've been there. Come out and clear your head for a minute. Don't pull an Eddie McCaffrey. 2nd down and 10.
2nd down and 10.
Wyatt and Kyle in the backfield. Sims and Wathier split left. Back to pass. Wyatt finds Duran out across the 45. Makes Klatt miss inside the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Mike Duran. Vintage Mike Duran.
That's a play that you could just kind of run at the end of his career and just say that's pretty much what he did his entire 4 years, and that would pretty much typify everything that he's been to this Arvada West team. We mentioned how difficult it is to bring him down one-on-one. Absolutely faked out a Pomona defender and left him in his dust, and then raced towards the end zone, getting a good block there from a receiver. And it is now 20-10, or actually, depending on Kristen Kammen's extra point here attempt, it will be 20-10.
Kristen Kammen, a 5'7", 130-pound junior, and the kick's blocked. And actually, Jared Lippitt might have returned that for a conversion, but apparently that's not the rule in the high school ranks. So the score now 19-10. Arvada West still up by 9, therefore making this a 2-possession football game. And let's see if the defense can shore up shop and put the clamps down on the Panthers. I'll tell you what, though, what you mentioned it about Mike Duran's run there. He caught that pass. Joel Klatt had a perfect shot at him. Duran stopped. Klatt never even touched him, and then proceeded to take it the rest of the way in for the end zone. And that was a sharp cut on grass, not AstroTurf.
Well, it's almost not even fair in some circumstances.
I wonder if his cleats are bigger than everyone else's. No, I'm just kidding. I would never accuse anyone of cheating.
98 Fletcher kicking off for Arvada West.
Jace Fletcher will be kicking it off for the Wildcats. Miracle and Ortez back to receive the kick, and Miracle's going to catch this one about 3 or 4 yards deep. Actually bobbles it, but a touchback nonetheless. 1st and 10 for the Panthers at the 20.
1st and 10, Pomona at the 20-yard line.
So a couple big plays here in the second half. Chung Beecham goes 77 yards on a touchdown run for the Panthers, and Mike Duran catches a 41-yard touchdown himself, and it's 19-10. We've had a lot of scoring here in the third quarter. 4:10 remaining here in the third. Again, 3 members in the backfield along with Klatt for the Panthers. Hand off to Beecham. Beecham finds a little running room out across the 25 to the 26.
20 Beecham, the ball carrier.
And in on that tackle is J.C. Tyus.
And Beecham really seems like he's got the motor running in the second half here for the Pomona Panthers.
Nice run there, because I think his initial hole was clogged, and he kind of kicked it to the outside a little bit and was able to find running room good for 6 yards. Beecham 7 carries, 92 yards. Klatt fakes a handoff to Beecham. This time throws to his tight end. It's picked off by Luke Vanola. Vanola tackled by Beecham at the 32, but Vanola comes up with the interception.
And was right to Vanola. He didn't have to move. I think that one almost surprised him how telegraphed that pass was right to him. Vanola came down with it and made the pick. And Arvada West, honestly, here is going to get a chance to almost sort of put this game and Pomona in a real deep hole if they can get a touchdown here.
Well, it's been a frustrating last couple of plays for Joel Klatt, the quarterback and safety for Pomona. He missed a tackle on Mike Durham, which would have saved a touchdown. And there he throws his second interception in his last 3 pass attempts. So again, the Arvada West defense coming up with a big play in this football game. 1st and 10, ball at the 32. Iwi, and that might be Kyle joining Wyatt in the backfield. Fakes a handoff to Kyle. Wyatt throws to Duran, makes a catch, turns it upfield. Another first down. He's hit hard out of bounds, but not until he picks up a good yardage, about 14 yards to the 18.
Plays good for 1st and 10, Arvada West.
Wyatt now 3 catches for 66 yards and the fifth down of the second half for the Wildcats. They've got 11-16 in the game. They've moved the ball up and down the field here. They've really dominated play, still only have a 9-point lead. But knocking on the door once again. There's a handoff to Kyle, and he is wrapped up immediately. A pickup of 1, Lindsey McMillan in on the tackle.
By number 22, Kyle. Tackle made by number 66, McMillan.
2 minutes, 40 seconds to go here in the third period. And we're seeing a bit more of Kyle, and I'm not sure who is that on to the right of David Wyatt. Is that?
That's Zach Iwi.
Oh, okay, that's Zach Iwi.
Yep. Got Iwi and Kyle in the backfield, and Duran's been in the slot most of the time here in the second half. And Duran and Aaron McLaughlin are having a little conversation. We're not sure if they're discussing where they're going out for lunch after this, or.
Well, that started right after the play there.
Oh,
Both
did
of
it?
those guys went face mask to face mask and then separated. So.
McLaughlin was probably reminding him about the hit he put on him, and Duran's probably saying, "Hey, I'm still out here."
Pointing towards the scoreboard.
Yep, no, not phased at all. That's right. As Jim Rome would say, scoreboard, right?
That's right.
Of course, I encourage all of you to listen to the Dan Patrick Show on KTLK, my employer. And also part of the family that employs Dave Logan in his day job. Clear Channel. So we've got a second down and about 9 here. The ball is placed in between the 17 and 18-yard line of the Panthers.
And I would really like to just sort of sit down in some ways with Dave Logan and just sort of, because I think he would have a lot of interesting comments to talk about this season as a whole. Because I think this has been one of, I think he's always been satisfied with the kids that he's had. But I think he saw so much potential on this team that I think he'll look back for many years and think of kind of what might have been.
Little screen to Duran. Duran makes a nice catch, sidesteps a tackler, and is killed again by McLaughlin, but not until he picks up another first down.
And there's a flag down right where Duran went down.
Penalty marker down.
Well, it's a 16-yard pickup. Duran is up. He's a tough customer because he got hit hard once again. And the penalty is going to be on A West?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Now, is it after the play? Or how do they mark it?
Well, it seemed like it would be, if the penalty flag was thrown right where Duran went down, it would seem to me it was after the play, but.
Let's see what they're going to call. Clipping.
Arvada West.
That's a 15-yarder.
Ball at the 17-yard line.
And so it brings up second down, and actually, again, A West picks up about a yard. We got a whistle and an official's timeout. All right, back to action. We've got a second down and 8 for the Wildcats. Ball at about the Pomona 17-yard line, so actually a pickup of about a half yard. That's Duran in motion. Wyand back to pass, gives it to Duran. He makes a catch, gets a block by Atchison inside the 10, inside the 5, and knocked out of bounds at about the 2-yard line. A pickup of 15 on the play by Mike Duran.
Sims and Atchison just got great isolation blocks on the two defenders for Pomona that were guarding them, and that really sprung Duran all the way to the 1-yard line there. If Sims and Atchison don't get those blocks, Duran's probably down at about the 15, 20-yard line right now.
First and goal, ball at the 2. Ewey and Duran in the backfield joining Wyatt. I'd like to see him give it to Zach here. Zach hasn't carried the ball in a couple weeks.
Right. I don't.
It'd be nice to see the big fella take it in.
His first action on the game, but
Duran scored in a hole that you or I could have run through.
Yeah.
And another touchdown for Mike Duran, the third he's had a hand on in this football game. So after the interception by Vanola, Arvada West takes advantage, putting 6 on the board. And they're going to go for 2. No, they're not. They're going to kick an extra point. My fault. Taylor Palin out there to make good on the extra point attempt. Place good. Kick up. Kick is good, and that makes it 26-10. Arvada West, minute 55 remaining. However, there's a flag on the play. Personal foul, Arvada West. Will that be marked off on the kick or on the ensuing kickoff?
I think that's going to be on the. Well, they're going to call everybody out there again.
So that means it's going to be like a 34-yard field goal for Taylor Palin, or extra point. But if it's a personal foul, I don't know how Arvada West is lining up down there near the 5, and this is going to be marked back 15 yards, right?
Right. That's
offsetting penalties, so the extra point is good. So actually there was a penalty also on Pomona on the play, and the play stands, and so the score indeed is 26-10 Arvada West, minute 55 remaining here in the third quarter.
Pomona, 10.
I don't know if, Eric, you saw a article in the Denver Post this week about the Jeffco League and how sort of intense and how sort of how not dirty the games are in this league, but just how, as you call it, the black and blue division of the high school football, but just, and they had a picture, I believe it was McLaughlin from Pomona on the cover, and he had that kind of black sort of eye paint, sort of like down around his face and stuff that a couple of the players like John Randall from the Minnesota Vikings do. And they were talking about just how this division in high school football is just absolutely, I mean, these teams come to get each other every single week.
Actually, that personal foul penalty was on Pomona. That was not offsetting, so Arvada West kicking this ball off at Pomona's 45. And Jace Fletcher kicks it out of the end zone. And so Pomona will set up shop at their own 20 again. Minute 55 remaining here in the third quarter. Well, I've watched Arvada West just about every week for the past 2 years, and I've seen an awful lot of big hits. I've seen a lot of inspired, emotional play, and this year is a perfect example. Pomona beats Columbine. Columbine wins the league title. Stanley Lake, the perennial doormat, beats Pomona. I mean, you try to make sense of it. Arvada hadn't won a game all year. They beat A West last week. I mean, this year has really been an exciting year in the Jeffco League. Not necessarily for Arvada West fans, but there's been a lot of parity in the league. That's a gain of nothing on the play as Klatt completes the pass to Agnew. Agnew, 2 catches for 8 yards. He's the leading receiver in catches for the Panthers. Second down and 10. Morales, Knight, and Chavez, the 3 defensive linemen. Actually, Joe LeBeau playing the defensive tackle spot as well. Palmer, Vanola, and Flores playing the linebacker. So Vanola, small guy in there playing linebacker. Klatt feels some pressure, tries to elude it. He's going to be sacked And again, it's Joe Knight. He's had a whale of a football game.
Yeah, well, for Joe Knight, no regrets today. He's come out and played his last high school football game absolutely to a T and just played his heart out today. And he's got a couple of sacks today. Mentioned his name a bunch of times. 3 sacks today.
A big day for the 5'10", 205-pound senior who came into this game with 71 tackles. Unofficially, I should add. So it's 3rd and long, 3rd and about 17. Klatt back to pass, has some time, rolls to his left, chased by Chavez, and can't elude Chavez. Palmer's there to put a little extra lick on him. A loss of 1 as Palmer bench presses Cisneros.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny to watch. Loss of 1 on that play.
Well, it's good to see because for a lot of these kids like Palmer, this is the last time they're going to be putting on the high school uniform. And
5th sack of the afternoon for the Wildcats.
Yeah, put a pop on somebody like that really goes to show that these kids are leaving it all on the field.
Absolutely. And the 3rd quarter is over. Arvada West firmly in control. That looks like they're on the way to winning the final game of the season. They lead Pomona 26-10. We'll take a brief timeout. We'll come back with the 4th quarter. You're watching the Arvada West Wildcat Network. Welcome back to live action. 4th down and about 19 for the Panthers. Matt Davidson back to punt, standing a yard deep in his own end zone. Duran and Adam Campbell ready to receive the punt, standing right beside each other as to confuse the Pomona punters, not knowing which way Duran's going to go. Davidson with the kick, angles it to the left side, and kicks this one way out of bounds. Almost nails a cheerleader. Good camera work by Steve Stanky, the cameraman for and owner of Abstract Video, who brings you these games. And that ball is going to be marked at the 37, so
that ball might have been kicked like
about
further.
10, 15 yards.
Yeah.
More, it might have been further out of bounds than
it was down the field, right.
So after really directionally punting great in the first half, Davidson's had a little trouble here in the second half. So Arvada West with great field position once again, 1st and 10 ball, Pomona's own 37-yard line. Duran joins Wyatt in the backfield. Sims is yet to catch a pass today for the Wildcats. Wyatt back to pass, throws, has a man wide open, and the pass is dropped by Caleb Atchison.
And I think that Kevin Thomas, defensive back, was out there for Pomona, and that ball is sort of...
We've mentioned Thomas's name a couple times.
A little bit of air under it, and so Atchison sort of had to kind of go low to get that, and I think if he caught it, Thomas would have laid a lick on him.
Atchison may have seen his life flash before his eyes, because Thomas was barreling down on him. We've seen Thomas apply a few big hits already today. 2nd and 10. Wyatt back to pass. Good protection. Airs it out. Has a man wide open. It's Atchison, and this one bounces off his helmet, and he takes his hands to his face. He's frustrated, as you can tell, and that one should have been caught.
Yeah, and I think the official is saying that he actually stepped out of bounds prior to making that attempted catch. So whether or not it was a catch anyway, I'm not sure what it counted.
I'm looking at the shadows to see if he would have been looking back into the sun on that one, but not really. I can't use that excuse, Caleb. Sorry. 3rd down and 10. Wyatt in the shotgun. Arvada West with a 16-point lead. Sends Duran in motion to the left. They've got no one really to account for Duran over there. Wyatt, a little screen pass to Sims. Sims makes a nice catch, loses his balance, and struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage, so that's going to bring up 4th and long. Sims gets his first catch of the afternoon, however, he doesn't gain any yardage. Sims as well, one of the leaders in the high school ranks in 5A as far as receiving.
And I'm not sure, I could be wrong, But is this Arvada West's first punt this afternoon?
No, Duran has punted it once before at
Okay.
least. I remember he had a high one I remember calling, but I believe
right,
this might be
yeah.
their second punt of the game. Duran back to punt, handles it well, kicks it to the left, down the middle of the field. That doesn't make much sense, but Danny Schwab's there to down it, probably at about the Pomona 11, and that's where the Panthers will set up. They've got 89 yards in between them and a touchdown. 10:52 left here in the fourth quarter. About time for Pomona to abandon the three guys in the backfield and use the wide receiver set, I would think.
You know, and I think that you have a quarterback who's capable of throwing the ball pretty well, and Joel Klatt, and like you said, they got to sit their three wideouts, Agnew, Larson, and Blazer out there and see if they can try anything.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. Klatt running the option. Had a little room, runs into Adam Campbell. Drew Cisneros also there on the tackle. Pick up about 4 for Klatt. 11 carries, 1 yard for Klatt. Keep in mind he's been sacked 5 times, and that yardage comes off his rushing totals. 2nd down and 6 for the Panthers. Again, three Panthers joining Klatt in the backfield. Klatt hands it off to Beecham, and Beecham's going to probably be short of a first down. Nonetheless, he picks up about 5. 8 carries, 97 yards for Beecham, so he's closing in on the century mark.
3rd down and 1.
Interesting play calling here, though, by the Panthers, electing to run the football, trying to get that first down.
Right.
Haven't had much success on the ground, so I would have questioned that strategy coming out of after the punt, but nonetheless a strategy that seemed to be working fairly well until possibly there.
Now. Yeah, a little late probably to establish a running game here with only 9:40 to go, and
I think Beecham's going to have a first down, judging on the mark.
somebody's down for Pomona there.
Looks like one of the offensive linemen. We can't get his number. Ryan Palmer having a discussion with the official, kind of telling him what he thinks happened, and Palmer is pointing to the Pomona Panthers' right knee, saying he might have been hit low on that one.
That's 78. Colin Nelson, excuse me. He is the left tackle, 5'11", 200-pound senior.
Not the way he wants to end his high school career, I'm sure. Injuries, I'll tell you what, we all know that they've been a problem for Arvada West this year. You know, they lost Drew Cisneros, Chris Chavez, and Mike Duran for extended period of times. I believe Josh Jones is injured as well right now. But Pomona's really had the injury bug as well. A number of players have been out. Chung Beecham missed their last game with Chatfield. At one point this year, they were missing 11 starters due to injury. Gary Klatt told me this year it's just been hard to really have the team gel or create a chemistry because, one, they've had a few disciplinary problems, but two, they just haven't had the same people on the field a whole lot.
Right.
Klatt back to pass, trying to avoid the rush. He does. Makes a couple nice moves, dives ahead for a gain of 2, and Rob Morellis, for some reason, is getting up very upset.
I know, I saw that sort of flopping around like a fish out of water.
First, I thought he might have been hurt.
Yeah,
but
exactly. That's what I thought, too.
maybe he thought he had a chance at a big hit and
he did.
didn't
I mean,
take
really,
advantage.
Klatt did a great job just getting back to the line of scrimmage because he dropped back about 10 yards in the backfield, and I thought for sure he's going to get sacked.
By the way, let's give Pomona some congratulations. That was their first down since the initial drive of the football game. 2nd and 8. That was a tad facetious. Chung Beecham breaks open for another first down.
There's number 2.
Pickup of about maybe 13 on the play. 111 yards now for Beecham, and Pomona's got a little something going here on the ground in the fourth quarter. 8:42 remaining. They trail by 16. I don't think they can keep the ball on the ground and score 3 more times.
No, I think they got to look at passing the ball somewhat here.
Well, now they've got it out of the shadows of their own end zone, so if you're going to open it up, I guess no time like the present.
But they really like this 3-back set.
Arvada West with 7 guys at the line of scrimmage. A little option by Klatt trying to get a block. Vanola in on the tackle as it's a pickup of about 2 for Klatt. Called Vanola's name often today, a 6 foot, 170-pound senior, like many players playing his last high school football game. And the ball's placed at the Pomona 41, 2nd down and 8. Again, Pomona content to use that full house backfield. 2 tight ends, 3 running backs. Klatt back to pass. Looks nice touch pass there as he has his tight end inside the 30 and down close to the Arvada West 21-yard line.
Mark Zalazik, the tight end, 87, big guy, 210 pounds, 6'4", makes the catch there. And as we mentioned, great arm strength by Joe Klatt, but he hasn't had trouble. He's had trouble at times during this game showing the touch, and that time he laid it perfectly right into the hands of Zalazik.
38 yards on the pickup, another first down for the Panthers. There is a flag thrown where he was tackled, and it looked like a personal foul on Pomona, so that's going to back it up 15. So actually it's like a 23-yard gain as they'll have a first down at Arvada West 36. I did not see what transpired at the end of that play.
Neither did I.
Mark Zlasik, as you mentioned, 6'4", 210-pound senior, pretty good size for a high school tight end. Some extracurriculars after the tackle, and it cost Pomona 15 yards. Fourth quarter, 7:33 remaining, and the Panthers have a first down. And again, we've got 8 men at the line of scrimmage for the Wildcats. Chung Beecham breaks a tackle and is finally wrapped up by Chavez, but not until he picks up maybe around 3. 114 yards on 11 carries for Beecham.
And now the clock is sort of becoming the enemy of the Pomona Panthers. They're looking at 7 minutes now, and this drive has taken up about 2 or 3 minutes.
And they're content to still stay with the 3 backs in the backfield with Klatt. Klatt, play action, drops back to pass, throws out to his right, has his man, has some running room. Down across the 20, or he's going to be stopped probably at about the 20. Only a pickup of 3. Actually good defense there by the Wildcats. Brandon Miracle in on the reception.
Looked like Pomona had it set up pretty well there. Had some blockers laid out for Miracle there, but Joe Knight laid a pop, and Chavez and LeBeau ended up finishing him off for a short gain. It'll be 3rd down and call it 5, about 4 or 5 yards here.
6 of 16 for Klatt. He's got 94 yards on the day. However, he has thrown 2 interceptions and hasn't really ran the ball well either. Only 5 yards on 13 carries. Again, that sack yardage lost comes off that, so that's a little misleading. Got an official's timeout on the field. Ryan Palmer asking why. And now the clock is going to continue to run, so 6:18 and counting here in the 4th and final period. Pomona trying to get back into this football game. They trail the Wildcats 26-10. There's a handoff to Beecham, and Ryan Palmer cleans his clock.
Just ate him up there.
Woo. I want to say it was the last regular season game of the year last year as well. Palmer, who were they playing? It may have been Pomona. Actually, it was Pomona. He hit some kid and knocked him out cold for about 15 minutes. Oh, just crunched him. Oh, it was one of the biggest hits I've ever seen. They say in that Super Prep magazine he's a concussion waiting to happen, right? That's what the receivers were saying.
They say he's a headhunter, and he counts the amount of concussions he's given over his career as a statistic.
Klatt back to pass, steps up, fires, throws over his intended target on 4th down, so the Arvada West defense holds, and they've played a whale of a ball game here this afternoon.
They have one of Arvada West's better defensive efforts all season long.
Absolutely. So the Wildcats are going to get the ball back at their own 31. 5:23 remaining, and we may see a few more carries by Mike Duran here. The clock is as much the friend to the Wildcats as is the score right now. Wyatt, Kyle, and Iwi in the backfield. I think Duran split left, and Atchison and Ranson split right. Iwi, now split right as well. Little option with a reversed Duran, and Duran's going to lose a bunch. Loses about 10 on the play. Matt Davidson in there along with Jared Lippett.
Yeah, that one was that end around, or I guess that reverse, I should say, just didn't really materialize as fast as I think a reverse needs to materialize for it to work effectively. And I think Pomona's player saw it coming when Sim started to go wide around the left side.
2nd and 19 for the Wildcats. Again, two backs joining Wyatt in the shotgun formation. Many of the Pomona fans getting an early exit, trying to beat the traffic. There's a little handoff, a minimal gain of about 2. And that's a run by Duran, 22 carries, 126 yards for Duran this afternoon. It's going to bring up 3rd and long. Clock continues to run, 4:19 and counting.
And we're going to see Arvada West here be content to really run the clock, play clock down.
Sure.
And just let time slowly pass off.
3rd down and about 16. Wyatt back to pass. Throws to his right. Has his man. Oh, the pass should have been picked off. Dropped by James Grievous, a 5'6", 145-pound senior. But the Pomona defense holds, and they're going to get the ball back for their offense. 31st attempt by Wyatt today. 18 of 31 for Wyatt, 212 yards, and he does have a touchdown. Not quite on par with his numbers the preceding 4 weeks coming in, but nonetheless, still pretty good day for David Wyatt. Duran with the punt, lands at the 40. He's going to be Miracle thought about picking it up at the 30. Punt eventually down at about the 24, so a good punt for Mike Duran as it gets a good roll. And Pomona's got another long way to go between them and the end zone, about 75 yards.
And on that kick, Aaron McLaughlin had a real good case for holding there, as he is sort of asking the officials. He asked the officials after that punt was made why there's no hold, because he was held back, and I think if he's not held back by the Arvada West player, he probably blocks that kick. And a block there would have really given Pomona a chance for a quick score, and maybe.
And he is not happy about
it.
Right. So 1st and 10 for the Panthers. They have the ball at their own 25. Now they go into their spread set with 2 receivers right, 2 receivers left. Klatt back to pass. Again under pressure, throws, has his man, short of a 1st down, but a pickup of about 7. Corey Blazer on the reception. Klatt now with 101 yards passing on the afternoon. 2nd and 2. That's Beecham in motion. He's scored Pomona's only touchdown here this afternoon. Klatt back to pass, throws down the middle, has his man, Jason Agnew, breaks a tackle across the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. And so with 2:57 remaining, Pomona gets another 6 on the scoreboard.
Great run by Agnew, and coaches pointing towards the offense saying let's go for 2 here because they're going to need a 2-point conversion. And Agnew, absolutely with a great run there, really had Arvada West defensive back sort of running in circles back there, and a great block by 24 John Larson sprung him into the end zone.
Yeah, he caught that pass at about 35?
Yeah.
So he caught it at 35 and tacked on another 35 after that. So Pomona has gotten themselves back into this football game. But here's a 2-point try. They need
crucial,
this.
Very crucial.
Absolutely. Pitch to Miracle. He thought of passing it. Cisneros is there for the stop, and that play went awry from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you pull a trickery play like that on a 2-point conversion.
Your best passer is Joel Klatt. Let him pass the football in the end zone for 2 points is what I would do.
2-point conversion fails, and that is big because now it's a 2-possession game still. 26-16 our score. Arvada West with a 10-point lead. Doing the simple math, they get the 2-point conversion. They're only down 8, and that means another touchdown and 2-point conversion ties it.
Looking at
got an onside kick it here
absolutely.
with 2:57 left, and you needed the ball twice. So not only do you have to get the onside kick, but you need to score fairly quickly, and then onside kick it probably again and score again. So
a lot
needs to happen.
Yeah, a lot.
Sims standing at his 15 to return this kick, but it ain't going to get that far. I'll guarantee you that. Proper English would be it isn't going to get that far, but ain't, kind of, I like the, it ain't going to get that far, Kind of the John Madden-esque common man theory of broadcasting. Bishop has the ball teed up at the 40. It's going to go to the right side. It gets a nice big hop, and that ball's anyone's football. However, I think Arvada West recovers it.
Yeah.
And I think it's Bob Gutierrez, a 5'9", 140-pound sophomore, who made the catch.
It's true. That ball took, I think, one extra hop and then was really necessary for Arvada West, and I'm surprised they didn't field it quite immediately. But
yeah, the guys at the 50-yard line were content to let it bounce to like the 45.
And that really gave Pomona an extra shot to get
I think they picked off a couple of those Pomona guys. I think the guys let the ball go. They were basically seen as blockers to let one of the back guys field the football. One theory on how to defense an onside kick. First and 10 to 41. Wyatt hands it off to Duran across the 45, out across midfield and into Pomona territory at about the Panther 46, a pickup of 13. And another Arvada West first down, and pretty soon they're going to be able to run out this clock. Not sure how many timeouts Pomona has left.
I don't know if any team has used a timeout here in the second half. So I think both teams perhaps have 3, but that's just a speculation.
Clock continues to run. 2:30 and counting. First and 10. Arvada West has the ball to Pomona 46. Again, a handoff to Duran, and this time Duran's going to pick up about 3. He's hit immediately by Matt Davidson. Second down and 7. And Pomona's going to call a timeout, waste about 5 or 7 seconds doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not real efficient. I think as a player, you have to be smart enough to know that if you stop a guy for a short yardage, you got to call timeout immediately.
Well, John Larson was signaling for the timeout. He is standing about 5-10 feet away from the ref, and he is just kind of lackadaisically going, "Hey, I need a timeout."
Right.
And you got to run.
Yeah, exactly.
Get right in his face and make sure you get. I mean, once the tackle's made, you got to seek out the closest ref and get in his face and signal the timeout. (26-16) our score. Been a pretty good football game here this afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think
defense ruled in the first half.
Yeah.
We've seen a little offense here in the second half, a little bit of everything.
We've seen some good players on both sides really make some big plays for each team, and it's nice when you get a big crowd like this on a nice day.
Close to 280 total yards for Mike Duran tonight. So he's going to end his high school career in fine fashion. 142 yards rushing. He's got 81 yards receiving, and he threw a 54-yard touchdown pass. And he's accounted for what? So he's thrown for a touchdown, and he's scored 2 others. So he's scored 18 of Arvada West's 26 points.
Zach Ewey on that carry there almost picks about 9.5 yards. Just going to be about a foot short of the first down, I think.
That's Ewey's first carry, like I said, in a couple weeks. Ewey, a senior. 5'10", 200-pound fullback. He got a lot more action last year than he ended up getting this year. Duran in motion from right to left. There's a handoff to Ewey. He bounces it on the outside, breaks a tackle, and picks up the first down.
And as we get in here to the last minute and 25, just thought we'd run down some of these seniors' names. Eddie Reynolds, Mike Dern, Jaden McNeely, Luke Manola, Dave Wyatt, all seniors. TK Farley, Jim Sterl, Seth Gunther, Matt Sims, Matt Cummins, Chris Chavez, some others. All these kids, not all these kids playing a real prominent role on this team, but nonetheless seniors for this Arvada West team playing their last football game here.
A lot of those guys just playing role positions,
right.
But you need guys like that,
yeah.
the consummate team players. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. They've got it at the 34-yard line. That's Iwi again. This time thrown for a loss. There's a fumble on the play. Wyatt falls on it at the 40. They're going to say Iwi was down. That's going to be a loss of about 1. Nice looking tackle there by Matt Davidson. Why don't you continue with those names?
Sure, yeah. Gianfranco Pacello, Jason Higbee, Ryan Palmer. No need to really mention him again. He's certainly played a huge role in this team. Joe Shepard, Cliff Deeds, Shane Kuntz, Kip Rule, Joe Knight, Josh Jones, Caleb Atchison, Brian Johnson, Rob Morellas, and Joe Scherer, the rest of the seniors rounded out for this Arvada West team. A lot of juniors coming back and going to play on this team next year. And as Dave Wyatt takes a knee, that is going to do it. Final score is going to be 26-16.
26-16, indeed, the final of the Arvada West Wildcats. Kind of a bittersweet ending. They like ending the season with a win, but the season didn't quite turn out like they would have hoped. They finished the year, I believe, 5-5 with an even 3-3 record in the Jeffco Conference. Again, no postseason for either the Wildcats or the Panthers. Nonetheless, though, another exciting year for Arvada West High School football. I hope you appreciate the work that not only that Matt Monahan and myself have done, but I know there's been a few other broadcasters. John Knopf, David Kale has joined us a couple times, and of course our thanks to Steve Stanky for making this possible, bringing you these football games and these tapes. Nice keepsakes, I think, for a high school kid is when you get later on in life, you know, maybe being able to show your own kids, hey, here's this game when I scored, or here's the game when we beat Pomona. I think it's a real nice keepsake.
It absolutely is. It's something that these players are going to be able to hold on to for a long time, like you said, and show their own kids. And, the memories, I think, from high school are ones that you always look back on fondly, and especially these kids, such a tight-knit group playing football together. It's a good thing to have, and I hope these kids look back on these tapes as fondly and really enjoy them as much as I've just enjoyed doing these football games over the season, because it's really been fun.
And our thanks to that man who you see on your screen there, Dave Logan, for his help all season long. Spoken to him on a number of occasions, helping us out with some information for these broadcasts. And thanks to some of you parents who have pointed out when we've been mispronouncing names or making mistakes. We apologize for those instances, but we think we've provided a good service for you and your kids, and we hope that you've enjoyed it. So for Matt Monahan, Steve Stanky, and the rest of us at Abstract Video, have a great year, and we'll see you again next season.
Bye-bye.